Hello everyone, in front of the file out here, and Polarium has released their Hydra fix video, and we're going to look at it right now and see what they think they can do to fix and improve Hydra for us as a player base.
Hey everyone, we've got a different kind of update preview for you today. We're showing off some balanced changes coming to the Hydra, and a few other areas of the game. Along the way, we'll explain why we're making these changes, but here's a quick overview. The current meta is way too limiting to players who don't have specific champions in their collection. We want you to experiment with different tactics and teams, switching things up each week. Let's dive in and take a closer look at what's coming. First up, we're setting the turn limit at 1,000 turns.
I think that's stupid, but okay.
Can easily take over an hour, so we're aiming to cut down the time by at least half an hour.
I think manual teams take longer, but
damage faster, rather than teams built for a war of attrition.
You're making it less fun, but alright.
You'll have no problem reaching the damage numbers needed to get your usual rewards. Moving on, we're changing how the Serpent's will buff works. Most importantly, and brace yourselves folks, it now reduces damage by 100% for a newly grown Hydra head.
Why?
Yeah, you read
That's
that right.
So stupid.
Complete damage reduction. You won't be able to nuke a newly grown head straight out of the gate anymore. Hold on though, there's good news too.
It looks like they can take debuffs, so that's good.
Only one of them will get the Serpent's will buff. Champions have gotten stronger since the Hydra initially reared its heads. What with Awakening, Empowerment, and Mythical Champions joining
Why not just buff their base stats
seeing Hydra heads
instead of doing that?
The battle, even with the 75% damage reduction. So, to make the fight even, and bring back some of the challenge that's been lost due to the game's evolution, the Hydra is getting a little stronger too. We're also making changes to Digestion and Devouring. You know how late on in the battle your champions start getting digested on a 2-turn countdown? Well, for every subsequent time they get digested after that first 2-turn countdown, the damage you'll need to do to free your champion increases. Like with Serpent's Will, Digestion and Devouring lost much of its intended challenge over time as more powerful champions and features were introduced.
Kind of, but no.
It was always meant to be one of the Hydra's key mechanics, and
making it so big will be a pain.
But it became really easy to rescue allies that were being digested. So, we're bringing that fear back into Digestion.
Digestion is still a pain.
Either. The Hydra has shed its thin skin, and petty insults will no longer distract it from a delicious champion meal sat right in front of it. In short, once a champion receives the mark of the Hydra debuff, they become public enemy number 1, and Taunt isn't going to do anything about it. Taunt is a cool mechanic, but new champion combinations emerged that could totally negate the mark of the Hydra.
I kind of see that,
not all
but
bad news though.
I think it's unfortunate.
AI will now prioritize attacking the head that is digesting when you're running in auto
I'm not sure why they're making this sound like a win.
The dream work.
Teams do this now
are also
already.
Getting a rework. From now on, Exposed Necks will have a set HP value that is double the original head's HP. Once that value reaches 0,
so unfortunate.
The head will immediately regrow. With constantly regrowing Hydra heads,
you're basically
think on your feet and
nerfing people now for dealing more damage.
Scenarios.
That is so dumb.
Hydra battles are about to get much tougher. But the changes don't stop there. We've got a few more lined up to help keep things balanced, starting with
so
shields.
Dumb.
Shields will now receive a cap
How is this balancing?
1 million points. This cap
just
is
give
for shields
Yannica's
placed by artifacts and shields
A3
placed by skills, though, so you could get up to 2.
Just give Yannica's A3 the enemy max HP thing. Just make it be able to only hit to a certain amount. That way there's no problem. I do not get the reason for nerfing shields. Now they have said on, it looks like Discord, they did say they will work to tweak the shields a little bit if certain clan boss teams that are relying on shields are too squishy and end up dying. But this is Polarium, so it's really hard to believe on that, unfortunately.
2 million points of shield. These caps are still big enough to ensure powerful builds remain viable for taking on the Demon Lord and the Hydra, but they'll not be as game-breaking as before. And lastly, we come to everyone's favorite Dwarven warrior herself, Trunda Guilt Mallet. Don't worry, we're not nerfing her into oblivion. We're just rebalancing some of her skills to keep her damage numbers in Hydra battles more reasonable. Starting with her default skill, Golden Mallet, Trunda will now have a 50% chance to place a stun debuff on both hits. A little upgrade, but a neat one for PvP. Trunda's second skill, Cloak of Ages, will now ignore 50% of each target's defense on her second hit. However, the caveat here is that it will only ever be a normal hit.
Honestly, they should have just left it alone and removed the ability for the second hit to double dip into everything. That was the problem. Make it to 60% damage and keep it at that. Do not allow any other damage or any other buff or anything to buff the damage. That's the big problem with it. Blessings improve it. Attack improves it. With normal hits, crit will no longer improve it, which is good, but make it where nothing can increase that damage. Just make it a true 60% of the base hit, and that is it. And the A2 would have been fine. There was no need for this whole ignore defense now.
It's still big damage, but it won't be quite as astronomical as they have been before. Forge Rhythm, Trunda's third skill, now places consistent HP burn debuffs, and both hits from this skill deal 50% more damage to enemies under a stone.
Just make it ignore stone skin if you really want to help. Like, do it what Georgia does. How is A2 ignore stone skin and Allele's A2 ignore stone skin? That would really bring her back in the meta if both hits ignored stone skin. Also, I really wish they had just removed the damn stun thing. Make it where there's no stun and the A2 always double hits. That'd be such a big buff to her for PvP.
Shield, another neat boost to her overall kit. And finally, her passive skill now increases Trunda's attack by 5% for each stun or HP burn debuff she places on enemies.
So he says
will still be
5%.
Increased as well, both by stun and HP burn debuffs.
He says 5%, but it reads 10%. Does that mean they changed it to 10% after they gave him the script, or was that a mistake? I'm not sure. Maybe they nerfed it to 5%, and maybe they did it 10% and then gave him the script afterwards and said, we're going to make it 5% anyway. Or who knows? I don't know what they're doing.
All in all, Trundle isn't going anywhere.
They do
we
not
still
know what
expect
they're
her to
doing.
be an excellent choice for Hydra battles and the arena. We tested a ton of early, mid, and late game champion rosters and team compositions when making these changes. Our results showed things will get better. You'll still be able to earn Hydra chests.
Okay, this annoys me about that so much. I'm not saying they did not test it, but why are you only showing us screenshots of the same team on different difficulties? Look at this team. So I want to clarify. First off, you have two, excuse me. I'm not sure why the hell they have Arbiter here, because to my knowledge, Arbiter is not really used for these teams ever. I think this would be someone else in place. But anyway, maybe people do use Arbiter in these teams. I thought they'd use Shuzen instead, but alright. Maybe they're trying to say this is the early game part of the account. Oh, we have Arbiter instead of Shuzen, but 6 stars, so not that different. But anyway, the thing I want to bring up about this team is you are still dealing 213 million damage with one damage dealer. That is stupid, but that's kind of irrelevant. My main problem is this is not an early game account. All these screenshots are the same damn boss or same team.
And
just
late game champion rosters and
on
team
different
compositions
difficulties.
when making
Normal,
these
hard,
changes.
brutal,
Our results showed things will get better.
and then Nightmare. How is that different result? You should have different teams. Mind you, this is a very late game team. Lydia is 5-star. Gerbtuck is 2-star. Okay, but he's empowered 4. That means you pulled Gerbtuck and got 4 extra copies of him afterwards. This Yumiko is 3-star. Alright, Yumiko is rare, but maybe you get lucky. I mean, my first legendary from a Void Shard on my account was a Chrysia, and I'm free to play. So you can get lucky. Maybe you pulled Yumiko. But to have 2 and then one have a 5th Ascension or 5th Awakening? No, I have not pulled 2 Chrysias. I've pulled maybe 10 legendaries from Void Shards now. No dupes. And then a 6-star Arbiter. A 6-star Trunda that is empowered 4. So not only did you pull one Trunda, but you've pulled 4 extra copies. I think the most champions I have are 3. I think I have 3 of 1 or 2 champions as a free-to-play. So it is kind of possible, but still, with these awakenings, this is pretty endgame builds. And I hate that they're not showing any other teams doing damage. I'm not saying you have to have an enemy max HP nuker here, or Marius, or something, but it would have been nice if they actually used another type of build that's not so high endgame to show. Like, all these champions are very well ascended. My Nightmare team, I may throw it on screen right here, does not have this amount of ascensions on it. I think only Thor has a decent ascension because, again, they had that Titan event where I could get most of his soul. And then I think a Crizzy, I got lucky. Or no, I bought in her souls from store. So yeah, this just annoys me. This is not
be able to earn Hydra chests
early game.
and milestone rewards in Hydra
Show us an
Clash.
early game account.
And you'll spend less time fighting the Hydra each week. As always, we'll be keeping an eye on your feedback and monitoring game data to see how these changes affect Hydra battles overall. We hope this preview has been useful for you and will help you prepare for more battles against the Hydra. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more raid news. Until then.
No, not liking or subscribing or anything. This is actually one of the first videos I've ever disliked. Actually, this is the only video I've disliked from them. It's so bad. Anyway, so I'm going to say that this is genuinely dumbest thing ever. I hope they do treat this the same way they treated the destroy enemy HP thing they did with Hydra. A long time ago when Hydra first came out, they realized that the destroy max HP thing for when we lifesteal off of Hydra heads was not working properly, supposedly, so they reverted the change. However, it would pretty much destroy 75% of your champion's max HP in one hit, even if you barely lifestealed off of them. So they ended up reverting it back to the old way, and that's what we have now, because they realized it was too broken and too many people were just annoyed with Hydra. I'm hoping they do that with this and just scrap most of this. The Trunda changes I do like. I do think she'll be a little better in PvP because she has kind of died out. And you do not really see her ever as a top end nuker. I think the whole A2 ignoring defense now on the second hit is nice for PvP. The A3 now applying the heat, the burn debuffs is pretty good against Stone Skin, and it dealing double damage is nice. I do wish maybe you'd just ignore a percentage of Stone Skin, but whatever. Maybe that'd be too hard to cut or something, but I'm not looking forward to these changes. I'd love to hear what you all think. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye everyone. Take care all. Peace.